Hello, hello. My name is JC Brown and I'm a graduate student studying Library and Information Science at Wayne State University. Today I'd like to share with you a unique twist on a popular classic, Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, in graphic novel format, adapted by Trina Robbins and illustrated by Anne Timmons. Little Women, a Civil War-era story, follows the four March sisters, graceful Meg, tomboyish and writer-to-be Jo, fragile and loving Beth, and the beautiful yet spoiled Amy as they come of age. Archetypes portrayed in the story include innocent embarking on a journey, the seeker, the caregiver, the friend, and the sage. Little Women can be categorized in different genres: children's literature, young adult literature, historical fiction, feminist literature, and of course classical literature. Topics and subjects explored: coming of age, independence, death and grieving, siblings, the Civil War, 19th century New England, and family life. Chapter 4, Secrets. On a chilly October afternoon in town, if anyone had been watching Jo, he would have thought her movements decidedly peculiar. For, on alighting from the omnibus, she went off at a great pace, till she reached a certain number in a certain busy street. Having found the place, she suddenly walked away as rapidly as she came. This maneuver she repeated several times, to the great amusement of a young gentleman lounging in the window of a building opposite. On returning for the third time, she pulled her hat over her eyes and walked up the stairs. It's like her to come alone, but if she's had a bad time, she'll need someone to help her home. In 10 minutes, Jo came running downstairs, with the general appearance of a person who has passed through a trying ordeal. "Laurie!" "Did you have a bad time?" "Not very." "You got through quick." "Yes, thank goodness." "Why did you go alone?" "Didn't want anyone to know." "You're the oddest fellow I ever saw. How many did you have out?" "There are 2 which I want to have come out, but I must wait a week." "You are up to mischief, Jo." "I'd like to walk with you and tell you something very interesting. It's a secret, and if I tell you, you must tell me yours." "Well, I left 2 stories with a newspaper man, and he's to give me his answer next week." "Hurrah for Miss March, the celebrated American authoress!" "Where's your secret, Laurie?" "I know where Meg's glove is." "Is that all? Then tell." "Psst, psst, psst." "How do you know?" "Saw it. Isn't it romantic?" "No, it's horrid." If you think classical literature is boring and stuffy, and reading classics isn't really your thing, give this graphic novel a try. For starters, the story is abridged, so it reads much more quickly than the novel, and the graphics are well done and richly colored, which makes the story even more appealing to the eye. I recommend Little Women for grade 5 and up. However, even adults such as myself can easily find themselves captivated by the story. So what are my thoughts on the book? Little Women, both the book and the film, have always been perennial favorites of mine. In fact, a popular question in which I often get asked, if you were on a deserted island, which book would you want with you? My answer? Little Women. My favorite character has always been Jo March. So here's a fact about the book. Shortly after the close of the Civil War, Alcott originally published the book in 2 volumes, Little Women, 1868, and Good Wives, 1869. Sequels include Little Men, published in 1871, and Jo's Boys, which was published in 1886. Popular classics that have been refreshed and published in graphic novel format include Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, Dracula by Bram Stoker, and many, many more. If you like this book, it can likely be found at your local library. However, if they don't own it and you happen to live in the great state of Michigan, you can borrow it from another library. How might you ask? Simple. By visiting Michigan eLibrary at mel.org, MEL.org, where you can simultaneously search hundreds of libraries all at one time. Pretty awesome, I know. All you need is your library card on hand. If you run into trouble, you can always ask the librarian for assistance. In fact, many libraries will offer to do this for you.